When you look at a Hearthstone card, all you really see is the forefront of the art, but a lot of cards have a lot of hidden Easter eggs and art that you probably have never realized before. Even some of them hinting at cards that we have never seen before. But before we get into that, let me know in a comment down below what your favorite artwork of Hearthstone is, and while you're down there, make sure you subscribe. A lot of you guys aren't, and I would appreciate it. Starting off with one of the best Warlock cards we've ever seen, Doomguard. From the card art, it looks like a Doomguard is just screaming in pain, but as you zoom out, you realize that someone actually died. Now, this is pretty funny because the flavor text of the card is summoning a Doomguard is risky, someone is gonna die. Dragonling Mechanic is another card from Classic, and as you look at the card art, it just looks like the mechanic herself, but as you zoom out, you see the dragon that she summons, but you also see a snowman, potentially the one from Fractured and Alterac Valley. Next, we have Ironbeak Owl, which looks like it's standing on top of a roof, but as you zoom out, you see it's on top of a shoulder pad of a gnome, and I'll let you in on a little secret, that gnome is not hiding from anyone. Secret Plan, which is a card that was released in the Boomsday Project, just looks like this goblin showcasing a plan to something, but if you zoom in, you realize that he's actually showing a photo of Dr. Boom, which was released in GVG. There is also two Boom bots on the desk in front of the goblin. King Bagurgle looks like a Murloc just shouting, but as you expand into the art, there is a lot of references in here. Dancing Daryl, one of the other BG heroes, is right there, but there's also 3 SpongeBob references. SpongeBob is on the weapon, Patrick is on his right knee, and Mr. Krabs is on his left shoulder. The League of Explorers artwork has a lot of hidden details in it if you don't pay close attention. In the top left corner, there is the card Unstable Ghoul, and right under it, the original card back. There is a Zombie Chow in the top right corner. There's the Pirates card back in Reno's Jackets. On Sir Finley Murgleton, there is a classic card pack, a Murloc Tide Collar, and an old Murkai near his leg. And right in the center, there is Lord Jaraxxus placed into the mummy. And here we have the Grifta released in Rostakon's Rumble that's selling you some illicit stuff, but some of this stuff is really interesting. We have a bottle of arcane dust used to craft cards. There is a classic pack. There is a candle from Kobolds in Catacombs, but right where Grifta's index finger is a lamp. Do you know whose lamp that is?
Feel if I call down
Zephyrus the Great.
Come on down. You're the next contestant on the Price is Right.
It's actually not confirmed, but it would be really cool if they put that there because Savers of Uldum came out 2 expansions later. Next, we have Regenerating Thug, which doesn't seem like much of a cool artwork until you realize the starfish hanging around her waist. A starfish was placed there because if a starfish gets one of its limbs cut off, it will regenerate it back, just like the Regenerating Thug. Bog Creeper and Fen Creeper both have a tiny familiar face riding them. Nemsy Necrofizzle, which became an alternate hero for the Warlock class, can be seen riding the Fen Creeper and the Bog Creeper. I'm also not 100% sure, but the Bog Creeper and the Fen Creeper could be the exact same thing. The Taunt Totem from the Shaman Hero Power Stoneclaw Totem actually isn't a snake. There is just a bunch of Murlocs around it with some random troll guy watching them. Not sure what they're doing. Searing Totem, also from the Shaman Hero Power, just looks like an ordinary totem with a beam coming out of it, but this totem is actually firing a beam at Patchwork, which was introduced as a BG hero. Dread Corsair is a card that looks like an ordinary pirate until we zoom out to see a gnome about to chop his head off. I guess you can say he was called Dread Corsair because he's dreading his imminent death. The hero power for Rogue looks like it's just 2 blades into like a hay bale, but if you zoom out, both of those blades are, you know, kind of killing something. Lava Burst literally looks like just a lava burst coming out of a volcano, but if you zoom in, there is a random guy who's about to get absolutely demolished. The secret mirror entity for Mage shows a mage casting an ability with a blue portal and an orange portal, but you may notice when you zoom in, coming out of the orange portal is his leg, legs, probably a reference to the game Portal. Defender of Argus looks like he has a big shield with a blue aura behind him, but if you zoom out, it's actually a hammer, so it makes total sense why you get +1/+1, one for the shield and one for the hammer. Injured Blade Master looks like he is just fixing his blade, but if you look a little bit closer on who the Blade Master is, it's actually Blade Master Samaro, who was introduced and forged in the Barrens. Varian Rin, who was introduced in the Grand Tournament and is also one of the more notorious people from Warcraft lore, has a pretty sick artwork, but if you zoom out, there is a lot of characters from Warcraft lore. For the Alliance, I guess? Frostwolf Warlord looks like he's giving some directions to maybe someone across the desk, but as you zoom out, there is a lot of people standing behind him waiting for instructions, but there's literally nothing on the map or whatever he's pointing at, so I don't know what directions he's giving. In the card art for Troublemaker, not only can you see the Troublemaker, but you can also see a plush of Murloc Tinyfin, Bulwark of Azzinoth in the back, and also the Shield for Target dummy. Steward of Scrolls looks like a regular elemental until you zoom out and realize that the elemental is being created by ink that's been spilled out. That's really cool. Geppetto Joybuzz looks like a regular toy dude until you realize SpongeBob makes another appearance in the bottom right, and I believe that is Tom Nook on his shoulder from Animal Crossings. I know you didn't know this one for sure, but in the artwork for Jeweled Macaw, it looks like there's nothing in the background until you zoom in and there's a freaking dinosaur in the bottom right. In the card, Hellfire just looks like a big hellfire, but if you look closer, there is a bunch of Murlocs suffering and dying, and now you can't unsee it. Don't play this card, you animal. Lady Prester looks like she is just a mage casting an ability, but you could somewhat see a shadow behind her, and if you zoom out, they are dragon wings. And that's because Lady Prester is actually Onyxia, who is also another dragon in Hearthstone. In the art Stegodon, you could see the Tortilian that is riding him on the card Spike Ridge Steed. That's pretty cool. In the card art for Scorch, you could see a Tauren getting blasted by some red beam, but if you look at the artwork for Flash of Light, it is the same Tauren but getting healed by a yellow light. Booty Bay Bookie is getting a bunch of bets for the Rastakhan's Rumble, and if you noticed, one of the characters is trying to give her the coin. Both Razorfin Hunter and Imp Master both share the exact same art with the token that they spawn. The squirrel that can be summoned by Tink Master Overspark just looks like an ordinary squirrel. But if you zoom out, this squirrel has a lot of furry friends. Okay, I have saved the best for last. In the quest lines introduced from United in Stormwind, the rogue one got Find the Imposter. Now, I know it only looks like Scab's Cutter Butter, but if you zoom in very carefully at the doorway, you see something that you probably never noticed. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really cool to look at a ton of art. So let me know if you know any other secrets that I didn't include in this video. And I thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.